This has been celebrating New Year's Eve on December 27th. The ball will drop on the trade deadline on July 31st, but a lot of the intrigue and drama has drained away. Manny Machado, Zach Britton, Kelvin Herrera, Moustakas, Brad Hand, Cole Hamels, Happ and Jeurys Familia already have been traded. Unless the Mets with Jacob, deGrom or the Marlins with Realmuto do a 180 and deal those stars. The best players who are going to be dealt at this deadline already have been. So, what's left? Glad you asked. Deadlines create action. Here are teams I have my eye on. 1. Yankees. There were 2 Rays scouts watching Justus Sheffield start Saturday night. But all indicators early Sunday were that the Yankees were not main contenders for Chris Archer. They landed a righty bat in Luke Voit from the Cardinals for Giovanny, Gallegos and Chasen Shreve. But they are still looking for an outfielder to better survive the 3 weeks without Aaron Judge. Perhaps a reunion with Toronto's Curtis Granderson or someone like Miami's Cameron Maybin. The supplementary parts of the Cardinal trade might be the biggest. The Yanks also received $1 million in international money, plus another $1.5 million from the White Sox on Sunday for lefty pitching prospect Caleb Frare. I heard this was integral because they have a couple of players on the international market they really like. Jesse Sanchez of MLB.com said it sets the Yankees up to sign 16-year-old Cuban righty Osiel Rodriguez. Also, with relief depth pieces Gallegos and Shreve gone, the Yankees could try Sheffield, their top starting prospect, in the Major League pen at some point, since he would have to be put on the 40-man roster after the season anyway. See also Zack Wheeler resurgence puts Mets in tricky trade position. The Mets have a Zack Wheeler conundrum. He is the 2 Mets after trading key walk-year pieces Familia and Asdrubal Cabrera. The Mets are still listening on Jose Bautista and Devin Mesoraco. But that would bring back third-level prospects. The question is whether they get a price to deal Zack Wheeler, who started Sunday. There has been a disconnect with the Mets valuing him at the high level he has pitched the past 2 months, with the industry making offers recognizing his injury-prone, up-and-down history. Will someone blink at the deadline? 3. Giants. They had lost 4 straight going into Sunday, to fall to 52-54, and a season-high 7.5 games out of first place. They badly want to go for it. But every sign is that they just are not good enough. San Francisco is unlikely to pivot and trade Madison Bumgarner, but Andrew McCutchen and lefty relievers such as Will Smith and Tony Watson would make the market more interesting. The Indians, for example, could use outfield help, and McCutchen would be an ideal fit, especially if the Giants ate some dollars. 4. Nationals. Mike Rizzo said this was a big weekend to determine their course, and they had taken 2 of the first 3 from the Marlins. That left them at .500, 6 behind the Phillies in the NL East. Washington seems unlikely to shake the market by putting Bryce Harper into it. And it is possible that no matter what has happened to this point, The Nationals will not stop believing they are better than the Phillies and Braves until either they prove that true or are mathematically eliminated. If that is the case, they'd probably even hold on to relievers such as Herrera and Ryan Madson. 5. Orioles, will Adam Jones waive his no-trade rights? I have heard Baltimore has had deals to move him, but so far he will not go. Will Baltimore find a landing spot for Brad Brach? But the big question is, do they trade desirable players who are not in their walk year, namely Mitchell Givens, Kevin Gausman and Jonathan Schoop? 6. Marlins, after an off-season sell-off brought the same old criticisms of constant fire sales and indifference to whatever fans the Marlins have. Derek Jeter's version is saying now it wants to keep its best young players. So that means Realmuto is unlikely to go. But retaining good relievers on a team still looking at a long rebuild is like having a good paint job on the Titanic. If the Marlins can maximize Kyle Barraclough and Adam Conley now, they should do that. 7. Astros, the defending champs have addressed defensive deficiency at catcher, Martin Maldonado, and late-game relief, Ryan Presley. The Astros could bite on another reliever, but will they address what has been poor left field production? 8. Red Sox, they have been fixated on relief, someone like the Padres' Kirby Yates, perhaps. But does a hamstring injury to Rafael Devers motivate them to add a third baseman, Adrian Beltre, or a second baseman, Brian Dozier, with Eduardo Nunez moving to third? Here is one other name to think about, Josh Donaldson. If not for the Red Sox, then some other team. He is currently on the DL, but the Blue Jays want to get something for him, since they might not give him the qualifying offer in the offseason, and some team might gamble that Donaldson's pedigree comes out when he returns. See also, teams remain reluctant to deal this group of coveted trade chips. So far, the starting pitching that has moved in the 9. Braves, of the most serious contenders, Atlanta has done the least so far, with just the addition of lefty reliever Johnny Venters. But Texas had 3 scouts in to watch lefty starting prospect Luis Guajara on Sunday in AAA, and the Braves have interest in Jake Diekman and Kian Keller. 10. Ace, when they are good, they have acted boldly in the past. Remember 2014, when they obtained both John Lester and Jeff Samardzija in July. They began Sunday just 1 game behind the vulnerable Mariners for the Owls' second wild card. Do they end up using someone like Jorge Mateo, a piece they got from the Yanks last July for Sonny Gray, to try to beef up their rotation?